Hello and welcome to this quick guide on how to add neon style effects to your UI in Crayta. There are two elements in my UI which currently have some neon style glows going on. The first one is this top left here. This is an image and it's using one technique for adding glow. In the bottom right we have this cache box down here and that's using a different technique. Let's explore these two techniques. I'm going to need to use CSS coding for this, so I'm in advanced mode. Firstly, I'm going to go to the player and find their inventory. Now you'll see that the currency boxes down the bottom here have got the glow on them. To edit the inventory widget, I'm going to find the inventory widget within this script folder here, which is this here, and I can click on the edit this asset button. When you go to the asset, if I wanted to change the style of an element in this inventory view, the first thing I would do is make the source editor on the bottom so that I can see the display as well as edit the code at the same time. And then I would find the element that I wanted to change. So go in the HTML and find the currency box, which is here, find the class that denotes what that is, and then find that same class in the CSS, which is this code up here. So this is our HTML, and I'm looking for the dot currency, and that's this part here. In terms of adding the actual effect, that's fairly straightforward. I've created a border around the box, which is a bright green color. It's 2 pixels thick, it's solid, which means not dotted, and it's got this RGBA value here, which is a bright green, and it's fully opaque, so 1 on the alpha scale. I've also added this box shadow block of CSS, and this is in 2 parts. There are 2 box shadows within this one CSS element. The first one is a strong green color, which comes out very slightly, and it's kind of like a shadow, but it's bright green, which makes it look like a glow. And then I've got this second one here, which comes out a bit further, but it's a little bit less opaque. So we're using this 0.8 here to determine how strong and how opaque it is. And this 0.3 here really cuts it down so that it's a very sort of faded kind of green. So we've got 2 drop shadows on this one element. And by layering up multiple drop shadows and coloring them a bright color, we can make it feel a lot more like a neon style glow. So a mixture of the border and then a couple of layers of box shadow. The other way that I've done this is if I go to my user and find the team box, which is in the top left corner here. Let's look at the team widget code. Now to start with, if I just remove that, this is the image that that it starts with, and it's actually using black text. But what's really cool is if we add a filter to our image tag in CSS, we can do things like invert the color and the number between 0 and 1 as to how inverted it is, 1 being the maximum inverted. So it turned the black to white. And then we can hue rotate, so change the color of that. If I delete that, we can see that the circle around the skull is yellow, and I can use hue rotate to change it to any other color that I want to without changing the white because I'm not inverting that. And finally, the drop shadow, which I've used by adding a white color, 255, 255, 255, 255. I've added a white color. I've given it a spread, a blur of 0.5 REM, no offset, so 0 on the X and 0 on the Y. And so that's created this kind of bright white glow behind the transparent PNG. So there are 2 ways that you can sort of attack the neon glow style in your widgets in using CSS without having to edit the images or upload loads of images or anything like that. Now I should caveat this by saying when you are adding semi-transparent effects to your UI, you're asking a lot more from the GPU. So bear that in mind when you're making these updates to your game. Remember to test it and try and get other people to test it on their setups. And bear that in mind when you're adding lots of layers of box shadow and stuff like that. But also don't forget to have fun with it and see what cool effects you can make using your CSS. And I look forward to seeing your neon coast style UI widgets in Crayta.